Times Square is a major commercial intersection, tourist destination, entertainment center, and neighborhood in the Midtown Manhattan section of New York City, at the junction of Broadway and 7th Avenue. Brightly lit by numerous billboards and advertisements, it stretches from West 42nd to West 47th Streets, and is sometimes referred to as the crossroads of the world, the center of the universe, the heart of the Great White Way, and the heart of the world, one of the world's busiest pedestrian areas. It is also the hub of the Broadway theater district and a major center of the world's entertainment industry. Times Square is one of the world's most visited tourist attractions, drawing an estimated 50 million visitors annually. Approximately 330,000 people pass through Times Square daily, many of them tourists, while over 460,000 pedestrians walk through Times Square on its busiest days. Formerly known as Longacre Square, Times Square was renamed in 1904 after the New York Times moved its headquarters to the then newly erected Times Building, now One Times Square. It is the site of the annual New Year's Eve ball drop, which began on December 31, 1907, and continues to attract over 1 million visitors to Times Square every year. Times Square functions as a town square, but is not geometrically a square. It is closer in shape to a bow tie, with two triangles emanating roughly north and south from 45th Street, where 7th Avenue intersects Broadway. Broadway runs diagonally, crossing through the horizontal and vertical street grid of Manhattan laid down by the Commissioner's Plan of 1811, and that intersection creates the bow tie shape of Times Square. The southern triangle of Times Square has no specific name, but the northern triangle is officially Duffy Square. It was dedicated in 1937 to World War I chaplain Father Francis P. Duffy of New York City's U.S. 69th Infantry Regiment and is the site of a memorial to him. There is also a statue of composer and entertainer George M. Cohan, and the TKTS ticket booth for Broadway theaters. When Manhattan Island was first settled by the Dutch, three small streams united near what is now 10th Avenue and 40th Street. These three streams formed the Great Kill. From there the Great Kill wound through the low-lying Reed Valley, known for fish and waterfowl, and emptied into a deep bay in the Hudson River at the present 42nd Street. The name was retained in a tiny hamlet, Great Kill, that became a center for carriage making, as the upland to the south and east became known as Longacre. Before and after the American Revolution, the area belonged to John Moran Scott, a general of the New York militia, in which he served under George Washington. Scott's manor house was at what is currently 43rd Street, surrounded by countryside used for farming and breeding horses. In the first half of the 19th century, it became one of the prized possessions of John Jacob Astor, who made a second fortune selling off lots to hotels and other real estate concerns as the city rapidly spread uptown. By 1872, the area had become the center of New York's horse carriage industry. The locality had not previously been given a name, and city authorities called it Longacre Square after Longacre in London, where the horse and carriage trade was centered in that city. William Henry Vanderbilt owned and ran the American Horse Exchange there. In 1910, it became the Winter Garden Theater. As more profitable commerce and industrialization of Lower Manhattan pushed homes, theaters, and prostitution northward from the Tenderloin district, Longacre Square became nicknamed the Thieves' Lair for its rollicking reputation as a low entertainment district. The first theater on the square, the Olympia, was built by cigar manufacturer and impresario Oscar Hammerstein I. According to Gotham, A History of New York City to 1898. By the early 1890s, this once sparsely settled stretch of Broadway was ablaze with electric light, and thronged by crowds of middle and upper-class theater, restaurant and cafe patrons. In 1904, New York Times publisher Adolph S. Ox moved the newspaper's operations to a new skyscraper on 42nd Street at Longacre Square, on the site of the former Pabst Hotel, which had existed on the site for less than a decade since it opened in November 1899. Ox persuaded Mayor George B. McClellan Jr. to construct the subway station there, and the area was renamed Times Square on April 8, 1904. Just 3 weeks later, the first electrified advertisement appeared on the side of a bank at the corner of 46th Street and Broadway. The North End later became Duffy Square, and the former Horse Exchange became the Winter Garden Theatre. Constructed in 1911, the New York Times moved to more spacious offices 1 block west of the square in 1913 and sold the building in 1961. The old Times building was later named the Allied Chemical Building in 1963. Now known simply as 1 Times Square, it is famed for